Greetings, good day, good evening, good afternoon. Whatever time you may be hearing this, I want to take the time to say a humble salutations to you. I am back with another episode of The Healer with yours truly, Keziah. Hi guys, so grateful to be back and in stereo with you all on today, Friday, another Faithwalk Friday. You know, this week has been very busy for me, so I didn't get to record as much as I would have liked to, but I believe I've found a solution for that. But anyway, we're getting right into it, and the theme for today is just into the unknown, yes, like the movie, like the Frozen movie that we all know and love. I just keep hearing that song playing in my head, and it's just like, it's been a constant reminder that sometimes you have to be okay with, leaving people where they are, leaving places where they are, so you can grow into the person, you need to be. And I believe we've kind of talked about and touched on this before, but I just want to kind of dive deeper into that. That also, as you go into the unknown and you let your light shine, you are seen more. You are going to be perceived, and people are going to form, opinions about you, and you're not going to be able to control them all, and that's okay. It's just a true reminder of heavy is the head that wears the crown, and to whom much is given, much is required. Because it's just like where the spaces you enter in, while you may be heavily celebrated, there are going to be spaces that you're not in where you are heavily hated or heavily disliked. And that doesn't really have anything to do with anyone but those people, because ultimately they would be a reflection of themselves. And entering spaces, unafraid of being perceived in that what people would say is a negative manner, is what sets people apart from being great and just, being average. You just have to be okay with being perceived on a level that, you haven't been before, if you want to go places that you haven't been before. And into the unknown also plays in not allowing people, from your past or people who haven't been places where you want to go to kind of give you unsolicited or honestly just advice. If you're somebody who's heavily ambitious, has big dreams, big goals, wants to influence, not monumental, but just meaningful change onto the world, to somebody who just aspires to have monetary, wealth, you would be like too much for them, because to them, it's like, how could you want to do things that sometimes, I'm not going to say in all cases, sometimes wouldn't make you money? How could you want to involve yourself in something where you're not really getting anything out of it? Or what you're getting out of it doesn't really have monetary, value. it just goes to show, like, that's why the barter system is dead. Like, people don't see the value in a favor. People don't see the value in people giving up, their time to teach somebody something, give somebody a resource, or put something together, take someone somewhere, just there are more valuable things, than what we've been taught. And just into the unknown is just playing, into all of these things and not really being afraid to just perceive and receive them, because we are meant to receive life and just different aspects and different gems from the different versions and images of God that are on this earth, So it's just like, if you're constantly closing yourself off to that, you're ultimately closing yourself off to, your a level of your enlightenment, a level of your human experience, and you might be opening the door for you to have to kind of experience this playing over again. However, I know that's also something that people come into this world, wanting, or just ultimately know that that's something that they're going to keep, wanting to do. But for me personally, that's not going to make me happy. That's not going to fulfill my soul. I believe my life right now is ultimately living my rawest and realest experience, because it's going to inspire somebody to do the same. One person, ultimately touches two, and two people ultimately touch, the world. So I just, if you took that literally, it just went over your head, and that's okay. But I just think we as a people are so afraid of change because there's no, control in that. I was talking to my mentor a couple days ago. Shout out to you, Dr. Bass. He said there's no joy in that, because that's where anxiety lives. Being afraid of change, there's no way that we can really be present and enjoy life. And I resonated with that. I resonate with that, and that's something I always said, but hearing it that day just hit differently, because I am in the midst, and just honestly, a lot of people that I know are in the midst of it doesn't seem to be on the surface, because people still have to keep going and hold themselves together. But what our private conversations have shown to be very transformative and tumultuous times in not only my life but theirs. And I just feel as though us still being able to find the beauty in knowing that this period of uncertainty is not only temporary but already written in our grand scheme of our book of life is very powerful and very beautiful. And it helps us keep going and just keep an eye on the end of the tunnel without worrying about the details. That's not to say that I never worry. That's not to say that those people never worry. It's just to say that when we do find ourselves worrying, we can quickly bring ourselves back to the present in knowing that this is temporary yet certain, because your book is already written and you're going to be okay. And if you are not okay, and if it's not okay, that means it is not the end of your story. and you still have inevitable work to do. Because as we all know, faith without works is dead. You can't know that things are going to work out, but not move like things are going to work out. The universe doesn't comprehend when we move out of a place of lack and our actions are showing we don't believe we're going to get or meant for what we want in life. By constantly saying things aren't going to work, or us having thoughts of, oh, well, how am I going to get this? How am I going to get that? If I do that, I'm not going to be... That's not, you have to, not to say don't take care of your responsibilities, not to say don't always be aware of things that you have to, pay for, save for, or, do. But it's just to say, know that as you're walking through this life, God has a plan for you. And that there's never going to be a deviation from that so long as you walk with that knowing. And don't allow yourself to get in a place and get comfortable and want to stay in that because you kind of think, or you kind of want that to be the end. And that's all. I also want to add, that's not to say you can't grow in a new way in the same space. Like, I know I've said you can't grow in the same pot. However, that is more so of a, you can't grow if you're not being, like, don't take that literally. That was a metaphor. That meant you can't grow if you're not mentally being stimulated, if you're not mentally being challenged, to kind of go the next level. Because, yes, there is levels to this life. And to be the person that you've never seen before, you're going to have to do things that you've never done before. You're going to have to do things that are uncomfortable and don't make sense for you and are hard to, start. But that's why people always say, and we find out at the end of every single race we've ever seen, is not about how you start. It is about how you finish. And most people who start off rocky but finish first, or just finish, like, period, or just finish, or finish well, they start with the mindset of knowing they're gonna come out on top. So even if they don't actually come out on top in their world, they came out on top. You know what I'm saying? Don't let the things that I say go over your head. The things that I say are meant to be thought about. The things that I say are meant to make you think critically. I want you to critically analyze everything that I say. I want you to want to fact check me and want to have the thought and proactivity to get your own perspective and get a version of this knowledge, that you can resonate with. Because, I know the books and things that I've read. I can list them off to you all day long. However, I also know, because I've read those books and because I've jotted down my personal notes and annotations in those pages, I have an innate and deeper comprehension of the things within them. And that is for a reason, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's another topic for another day. But hey, I just say all that to say, we have to do more. And when it comes to the unknown, we have to consciously put forth the effort to know and be okay. Move like you have what you want. Visualize the person that you want to be and show up as that person every day. No matter if they are wearing something different, no matter if they're talking different, no matter if they're choosing the water over the soda, no matter if they're choosing the stairs over the elevator, whatever decision, no matter if they're choosing to do that homework now versus later, no matter what it is, visualize the person that you see yourself as and the person that you know you are going to be, and show up as that person today because you are. Okay? Just be. I love you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and a beautiful tomorrow. It has been wonderful talking to you all. And please stay safe wherever you are. But, just also be in your own energy. And don't let people take you from who you are. One love.